Good morning, good afternoon, and good evening, whenever and wherever you are. And welcome back to the beta plan and to the second video with this somewhat odd introduction. This will be the last video, hopefully with this type of introduction, because that would mean I wouldn't have any more mistakes in the recording of the microphone. Let us see how Husha's son, the new Shahansha, will do within this episode. I say I thank you for watching, and I hope you enjoy the watch. And welcome back towards the Dulkadir. Now under the new rule as said before, and well, Kehosrau, I have no idea, is the new ruler, and his stats are awesome. Despite the fact that he's arbitrary, but unfortunately, I also don't know how long he will rule, because, well, as I just showed you, he is 41. This is his brother, the one to rule Sana, but currently only he has girls, and thus we are currently the heir to be, because he is an agnetic Gavelkind, which is what automatically the laws became when we usurped Sana. So we have some armies we would like to gather in order to finish up these wars. I mean, one is doing quite fine, but this one little duke is being a nuisance. He thinks that he can withstand the Persian Empire, and of course we need to teach him otherwise. This lady likes her man a little bit too much. I mean, her ruler, so I'm just gonna release her. Normally what I look at, if they're at like round 0 to -5, they will hop to about +30, because you get a +30 bonus, I should say, for releasing somebody. And when you release somebody with a +30 bonus, keeping this information for myself, you will have the opportunity to demand also their religious conversion, which will also increase their opinion of you, even if they will dislike it that you demand a change of their religion. The difference in religion is so large that it is better to ask them to perhaps come to terms with the fact that Zoroaster is the one and only true prophet. Well, our armies are gathering nicely up in order to beat down that army of that one province duke, and this is the revolt against Egypt. And it's not doing too well, but it's taking quite a bit of time. And now that I'm here anyways, I have, what, 100%, because that was a province owned by that man, and that means that we have now all of Sana. And we once went for the Holy War for Sana and not for the two provinces where that are connected to Egypt, or the one that is connected with Medina, because, well, Sana is currently part of the Kingdom of Sana. Gee. Go figure. That, however, means that I would like them to slowly move back into Egypt. I think that's easier, handier, nicer, but whatever term you want to use. And as such, I wanted to continue them, and I will give them to the man that already had the duchy, of course. Besides, he had, as I showed you very quickly, already converted his lands to both Persian and Zoroastrian. Though I have to admit, now with my extensive explanation of why I went for Sana, that may have gone a little too quick. And in that case, I apologize. We have a little bit of a faction, increased council power in the Dulkadir Empire. I would like to prevent that, actually. I would like to curl the power of the council just that little bit more. There's only one law that I find practical to have entirely under my control. That's kind of interesting. He's malcontent but owes us a favor. I wonder how that happened. And there actually is Arabia declaring the war for Medina. That is awesome. We already kicked that guy's ass, and here is our armies. They have a bonus, but their backup came too late, so this seems to be like a fight that will work for us. Captured some random fellow. Minus 33%. Alright. Can we ransom some people? Yes, we definitely can. Alright. Yeah, I think I've even off camera, I remember that I took care of a few of the ladies and either released them or recruited them for my courts. But, well, we had assaults happening on holdings in which we captured 40 prisoners. I know I cut that out, but that was just such a minor thing that I did not think it really necessary to show. But yeah, the fact that we are now taking this Duke down a peg is something that feels good, of course. I mean, we didn't wage war on him, and he did stand quite long, but... And here you go, another 16 or 17 prisoners most likely, considering that we just got 70 messages, but there's always one that slips by that I haven't taken care of yet. Well, that's too many people to assault, so we will slow siege this, but we are definitely doing fine. There's more people that we can ransom. I'm sorry, of course, there is no music in the background. That is always nice and soothing to listen to during these videos, but yeah. As I said, we have to take care of it. And here is more or less the last fight that we need to take care of it. We have sieged down all his holdings, or at least most of them. And there was another army that was trying to siege down Massawa, which is the capital of our king of Sana. And here is my son, married to my daughter, strong daughter, always nice to see, of course. And that is going to be in the line. And I'm quite fond of the idea that, well, despite the fact that he is not strong, at least his wife will be strong, which will give us a chance for strong children. Always good, and there we end the war. Standing down the man, and voila. We have complete, well, no, not complete control, but control of the lands that are south of Egypt. And considering that it belongs to him, and I won't mind if he becomes a ducal king, so to speak, I will give him Aksum. I mean, Sana is supposedly... It's not a titular title in principle, but... yeah, it doesn't really matter much, to be honest. But I didn't want to give it to the king of Egypt, because if I would do that, then he would have claims on lands that are currently in Arabia, which is already happening, and if I give it to Arabia, then I just don't want that in a struggle. And here, usurping the kingdom of Africa. Let's immediately declare war upon all these new little counts, because that is always happening. When you usurp a title, everybody beneath it is released. And by the way, I should rather grant the title first, because otherwise I can't give it away during the war. And there we go. King of Africa. Now also under us. And if you can say King of Africa, Africa is a continent, yes, but the nation here is called Africa because of back then the early colonialism that was over there. In principle, it's more the lands of modern day Tunis and what have you not. The councils was against this. Alright. Pragmatic people, they don't want to go to war. Oh, I'm sure that we can make the council see otherwise. Hold on, let me... I always click wrong where the council is at. I'm sorry for that. Oh, this man has also got malcontent, huh? That's why. But we can call in a favor from him. We have people on the council that can probably be bribed because they are simply priests, so they're not too expensive. And this man is... yeah, this man is independent as well. Yeah, and they also don't want to go for that. It's the malcontent issue, most likely. And the pragmatic... yeah, that... we're already busy fighting a war. It's one county, folks, and they're not currently in a pact against us. I really want to declare these wars. So stop pestering me about things. But the Almoravids, they have quite spread. They actually won their war against the Idrisids over here. Idrisid, yeah, that's... they were actually fighting over the de jure claim over Fez, but they won that one. And Mali's still holding on to its West African faith, its paganistic faith, which is kind of cool, because normally they turn Muslim, but apparently now they have so much issue with probably heretical beliefs that they need to try and get the Druze population to move to Sunni or Yazidi or what have you not. And thus there are... well, left alone, and here we just bind a little favor from the people. We have more than enough cash. If any, that's the least problematic thing that we had during this campaign. Money is good. We don't need anything else. So let's call in the council support of this malcontent person. He won't like that, but that's just too bad. And then we just need to wait until this guy actually accepts. And there is a little war within Africa trying to get lands of my other brother. Not sure if I enjoy that. And there he goes. He finally responds to my request. I call in his council support, and that means we can start declaring wars. And he joined the defensive pact, so let's first call war upon this guy before he joins the defensive pact. There we go, thank you. And this guy, well, it's a one province, which is fine, we probably can handle that, but let's declare that war afterwards, not immediately. First I want these two armies to combine on Tunis, grab Tunis, and then we walk towards Annaba and try and grab that as well. That's all I can say about that. Released from prison if you will not be ransomed. Yeah, you will not be ransomed, then just... Well, we can execute him as well. Bye-bye. Executed by scapism. I have no idea what that means. I've never seen that one before. I remember that. Yeah, no, nothing there. I don't know what it means, but alright. His holdings quite empty. Drained his men in order to fight us. And with Muslims, you have the advantage if you attack and you can manage to punch through the first holding, that you probably can easily take the next holdings, because it's rather... They also hold the other ones. So he gets a plus 50 for pressing his claim, and that man, well, he may still be in power, but he's Sunni, and considering that we have religious revocation wars, I'm sure that the Aghlabit, though a prestigious dynasty, will probably be taken care of by my brother and removed. There we go. We have the council against us, so despite the fact that we are causing a world war with apparently 44 war declarations against us, we are going to attack, and, well, this little peasant revolt has no chance. And you can call me the ill ruler all you want, game, but I'm just a little bit whimsical upon some decisions. You may call it arbitrary. I simply say that I know which wind to blow with. I am not whimsical. I am not an ill ruler. I shall show you the grandeur of this new Shahanshan. Seeks to kill whom now? Hold on there. Wife, who do you want to kill? You want to kill my nephew. That's kind of pointless. The man is a count beneath a king. Wife, I'm sure you mean well, but that is rather pointless. And there he already surrenders before we even attack the last city. Thank you. Annaba, also now part of our territories. So let's make ourselves some new people that will rule over these little cities. And whoa, a little skip in the video there. But we did that, and I gave it away to the brother that was just being attacked by the king, so that it was certain that even if one county was revoked, he would still have a county left to rule in. Why do I do that? Well, they will also have claims on things that he is has holding, and thus it makes Africa actually a little bit less stable, and that is kind of handy for me. And here we take care of that revolt that had popped up, and well, I'm looking. I remember that I have called in all kinds of council support, and I'm see that I have now people that actually love me even more, because we have a new man on the council, this blind mystic person. And, well, I'm considering what new laws to implement. After all, I would love to do so. And the one thing that I'm not... Like, banishment, that doesn't matter so much, as does execution. Most of the time people are quite for it, but imprisonment... Well, if I want to imprison one of my own people, and the council's against it, they can stop that. Before this can take care of, for instance, some of those nasty factions that can develop. So I would like to have that on my side as well. Banish and imprisonment, most of the time, if the council even doesn't want to do it, you can still throw them in the oubliette nowadays, which will cause their death if that's what you want with the execution. If you don't like banishment, well, you can just put them into the prison and forget about them. I mean, that happens all the time already anyways. So, well, this is about where I like to have my laws, where I'm very, very comfortable with them. Or, of course, if, and I have done that before, when you want to completely abolish the country, the council at all, but then I don't think your country, which is why I make this mix-up, should be this large. If you have this large an empire, abolishing the council is going to be really difficult. And because you remove so much of your vassal limit, and as you can see, we have 24 of 25, we're a little bit at our maximum. Well, then I think you first should get imperial laws, which also cause again, which give you 25 extra vassals, but minus 10 opinions. So, let's go with castle infrastructure. That gives extra tax, but I just realized that that is actually one ahead of construction even, so we got a huge ahead of time penalty. That was perhaps a bit of a dumb idea. And here we can go for noble customs. After all, I just abolish some of the council power. People don't like that. And here I kind of want to wait because I want to get some extra retinue. And I only want that in order to, well, have this OCD thing that I want proper numbers for every army that I have. And the army in the capital is a new retinue army. And I just barely am off on that exact number that I want to have. Anyways, let's also ask for peace here. And here also the Almofarid just loses yet again some of its territory. And although this province actually does not belong to Africa, this I am going to give it to the King of Africa because I don't really need this one county, and I may be able to hold it in my domestic size, but I'm currently fine with holding what I have within my capital duchy in general. And my son here, I'm introducing him as the heir to be, has grown kind, and we're trying to get him to become marshal because he's willful. Unfortunately, he's also timid, which works against it, but the other trait that he had was affectionate with timid, which also doesn't work, affectionate with willful, which works bad against diplomacy, so there was no good education to choose for my son. The other son that you see over there is actually a strong son, but unfortunately he's the second born. And my daughter here has tasted a little bit of life before she married her brother. Oh well, she is a bit of a loony, as they say, so let's just keep it this way. Yeah, we are extending our lands, and if you're wondering why I am not the guardian of my own son, because I'm trying to give him to a martial guy and make sure that he gets truly a good martial education. Because I prefer that, yeah, and there are somebody complains about my arbitrary nature, I don't really care. But what we are doing is we are holding a grand tournament. After all, we are at peace, and well, we do want to show off how good of a ruler we are. But I can also assure you that peace is but temporary. As soon as the grand tournament is over and we know who our champion warriors are, we will send them out to war. Because this man may be against us in a pact already. The advantage is that he's a single count that just recently took over the lands. And this man, well, same kind of issue, but his holdings are, well, full of levy sizes yet. So I first want to take down this little upstart, because he is a peasant, a farmer that kind of went into rebellion. And let's see if we can also hack a little land of this rebellion. We are certainly taking care of this backyard of ours, which, by the way, I do believe the world should not be even worried about. Despite the fact that this man just joined the pact, or even if he was already, this is my own backyard, folks. I'll take care of my own backyard, thank you very much. I don't want all these people roaming around in it. I want to focus my arrows on the west. The northwest in particular. I kind of want to take on the Byzantine Empire, but for that I would need a lot less threat. Because the problem is that if I want to take on the Byzantine Empire, I can't have it go that far. Anyways, let's continue on with ruling properly, and that actually gets me depressed. So many things that I have to take care of, I don't feel well with it at all. The pressure of ruling is mounting upon this new Shahan. Oh well, as we actually also look at, well, what we can do with our current money and our, well, also taking care of our harem is also just incredibly stressful. As you can see, got another girl pregnant, and well, here's another one of my, actually this is my half-sister, pregnant. Yeah, it's all very stressful work that we're doing, and it's just, well, difficult. Let's put it that way. But despite all that, we will persevere, I say, because we're going to go through another one of these few small little wars. And as you can see from the top right, Arabia did win this war, so Arabia is complete. What I don't get is actually that the desert there is still grey, because we encompass it all, and I did believe that I once read that wastelands, if encompassed completely by another country, they will be filled by that color, but that's apparently still only true for EU4. I thought they also changed that for CK2. Which I find a bit of a shame, because I would like to see that in the same color. Back in the day you could actually take the lands over there, but ooh, the council's against it. If we do a holy war, but if we do a de jure claim, as you saw, they are for it. Interestingly enough. So, let's do that one. And yes, indeed, the whole world is against us again, but it's again one single county count. We don't give a hoot. And there is the armies of Egypt, just to speed up the process of conquering this land. And here's another daughter of mine. As I said, making girls pregnant, spreading the lineage, ruling over the lands, waging war. It is a tough life, being a Shahanshan. And this man just died without an heir. Died of an infected wound. That's interesting. The lion is dead. So now this man is the ruler. And I notice, I'm wondering where he comes from. And I know now, because he has a barony line. Where is this barony? Well, it's in my main duchy. Yes, that line that we once parked there because we had no county, now it is king. That is a bit of the problem sometimes when you do an all in the family type of strategy. When some of your family lines die out, all of a sudden you have double kings with huge kingdoms and what have you not. For instance, I don't know, but like for the kingdom of Alania, the king of Arabia is like the second in line because he only has but one son. Those type of deals are, well, going to be problematic. But yeah, I'm looking here, like, how did this guy inherit? Because the lines are quite far apart from one another. And I'm looking at which sister does have, these sisters don't have any sons, so when we look at the first sister, apparently she was married to the Baron. And that is how this man inherited all the land all of a sudden. So despite the lines were far apart, they were recently, well, brought together. And I didn't realize that. It will. Not a big issue. And here we are getting defeated a little bit. Which is, actually, you can see that in the north. And apparently this lady's lustful. Let's just forgive and forget. We are nice. Yeah, they are actually sieging down in Nubia on top here. Because there was recently a revolt over there. And another guy she went to bed with. A little bit of a hussy. Which is kind of a weird thing. I also said when I was making the video, like, you say that for a woman, but when a man sleeps around, sometimes they actually just get like, oh, well done, huh? Which is really weird. Why is a woman a hussy and a man all of a sudden, in certain social statuses, gets like a hey, well done thing? Why can women not do that and men can, or other way around? I think if a woman is a hussy, then you can also be a man hussy, and when you sleep around too much. You know, that's... I don't think that's honorable, but... perhaps I'm just an old-fashioned fool who likes old-fashioned... Well, not old-fashioned games, but the games about old-fashioned style of politics and what have you not. Oh, voila, there he is. I was certain that he will try and remove this man from power. He is Sunni, and he does have 2 provinces, so... There we go. And the man is very happy despite being pretender and claimant to the entire empire, but he has 3 counties, so what does it matter? Not a woman in our prison also got undepressed. We know what it's like, don't we worry. But yeah, there is the kingdom of Sana, supposedly, as you can see for a short moment, but oh, we don't really abide by that rule. And this is of course the other country that we kind of would like to get rid of, Jerusalem. the Byzantine Empire and Jerusalem, but we probably want to attack them hopefully via Great Holy Wars, so that we can get all the land in one go and that we won't be the super aggressor. Because if I declare the war and win all the territory, it's going to be... well, the world is going to be against me, and it already is, but it's going to take years and years until they finally will allow me to say, oh, perhaps you're not that aggressive. There we get another young daughter. All fine, and there we have done grooming an heir. But first, my daughter is sick, so we ask him to save my daughter. But of course, the most important thing, how did my heir do? He did amazingly. He actually became a brilliant strategist. Well, he is craven, which is a bit of a shame, but he's a brilliant strategist, and that despite having only one trait that was actually good for becoming militaristic, and his timid even turned into craven. So I am amazed that he's still a brilliant strategist, and despite him not being a superb heir, because Chase is also kind of annoying, he is ambitious as well, and his wife is strong, so this line can still be doing just fine. Farhat. Yeah, well, besides the -5 vassal opinion of Craven, let's not make too big of an issue out of it. After all, you might be able to remove that by using, for instance, the war focus. That can give you brave. Moreover, I am arbitrary and I also have a -5 penalty, as you can see here. So yeah, but we have a new ambition because we groomed an heir, so we need to consider that, and we need to, of course, marry out and brother and sister. And there you go. And that's a good amount of prestige, 1500. So from the get-go, before he even has any land or any titles. And yes, she may have a son, but she's 18 still. So let's hopefully that's gave her experience enough to know what to do. Shall we put it that way? And here we can use a new spabot. I don't even know what it means, but this man kind of needs to be on the council, and we don't have a position for him, so we'll give it to him. And here we have a lot of commanders, and I'm actually, well, considering putting my son in there, he's the third man in power now. And if we have a big enough army, he probably won't die, and he still has a chance to. Oh, my son here abandoned the commoner, so he went into his castle to prevent being diseased. I think that's a good idea. And he's also craven, despite being a strong man. Strong but craven. That can happen. Craven is something more of a psychological thing. Strong is something of the physical. And the second heir to be. So it doesn't even matter that our first heir is craven, because our second heir, the second in the line, also is craven. So it's apparently something that is just now part of the line. Well, part of the line would be a bit of an over-exaggeration. After all, let's face it. N is 1 does not constitute to a rule. And by that I mean, if you have a sample size of 1, and a line requires several people to be in there for order it to be called a line. So with one person and a sample size of 1, you can't really claim that Craven is a part of your line. That would be a bit ridiculous, to be honest. Alright. And he saves my daughter, thank you much. Yeah, despite being blind, he did well. As we still have these Yazidi people here spreading, and the camp fever, well, you can't, you won't see it, but it's been a while in this area. Camp fever spreading, and oops. As I look at diseases, I myself get chest pains, and my physician thinks it's pneumonia, and I have to follow his instructions. Very well. And the cause of your trouble for horde, consult the stars before draining a good portion of your blood, which is amazing to me that actually is helping, because it says I'm glad I hired Farhat, so it has gone well. And it gives me a health bonus, though if you drain your blood, I can guarantee you that's bad when you're ill. You kinda need your blood. So it's kind of funny that actually it's programmed in the game that it can actually be good, because it kinda always is bad. So, yeah. But oh dear, the symptoms have troubled you lately were a sign of something much worse. You have cancer! Uh-oh. -3 health and -20% fertility. It was not consumption at all, it was cancer. Shahanshon Kekhosru. Khosrau, I still don't know. Yeah, and then I also become stressed on top of that because I can't take it anymore with all these things that are attacking me. Well, your court physician, Fahad the Blind, yeah, I know, has come to you and offers treatment for your illness. He explains there are several different types of treatment he can offer. Okay, so what do we have available to us? Well, we could become... say these treatments are scary and become Scraven, but we can also say, I trust your knowledge, O wise one. My life is in your hands, or as long as you know what you're doing. And all of these state that the risk of this treatment will vary depending on his capabilities. So I'm like, that doesn't tell me much, so let's just look at Farhad. What type of person is he? Well, he is a mystic, we know that. So, if he's a mystic, I would probably want to go with, I trust your knowledge, O wise one, and we're going for mystical treatment. Farhad gave you a pouch of herbs and sent you on a journey to find your spirit guide. You wandered the wilderness for days, eating only roots from the pouch, sleeping under the stars. Finally you felt a presence and you saw a great horned beast. Afterwards you wondered, are you the beast? And I feel different, and well, I will be cured of your disease, but I will become possessed, and there's a 25% chance I also will become a lunatic. Yes, I have lost cancer, but I am a lunatic, and I have gone insane. And I'm stressed, and I'm depressed, and everything is just too much. And as I say, you tried, you really, really did, but dark thoughts keep uninvited into your mind nonetheless. You know that you are not alone, although it sure feels that way. Being surrounded by the people who do not see, cannot understand. Some days are worse. Some days that is worse than total isolation. And poison will give me sweet oblivion. I will have a quick and painless death by the noose, or the highest balconies and keep offers a view. That will be my last. But no, we will drink the sweet poison. After all, I have become mad with thoughts, depressed and stressed, and I thought, why not? Despite the fact that I actually lost cancer, but I've never done it on camera, and thus I thought it would be nice. It had barely been a few moments before you started to cough blood after ingesting the poisonous brew you had concocted. Finally you would be released from this dreary of the world, and now the endless rest lows 200 prestige, and general opinion is minus 50. And thus we leave the nation in the capable hands of my son at the age of 16. We committed suicide. Now don't think that this is a good idea because now you have age 16 and say, oh, now you can rule for a long time. That's the good part of it. But because I killed myself, people have a low opinion, and that will affect Farhad's rule. But that is for next episode. I say thank you for watching, and remember, great peril yields great beauty.